This stream contains fast-flashing images that may affect viewers who are susceptible to photosensitive epilepsy or other photosensitivities. Viewer discretion is advised. Previously on VCT Americas.
You gotta stick it, Chosen Spring! Spring tonight! No way! Off of it all! He's the hero in this scenario, and 100 thieves have been denied!
This game has had it all, but I did not see it ending with Chosen getting a knife kill on the diffuser.
We're living in an alternate timeline, okay?
I am your father.
No, that's impossible. No! No!
And maybe a few more, Spring! That's it! It's finished! It's done!
In the most Sentinels way possible, they win this game.
Let's talk about the timeline we were supposed to be on,
Fighting for the season, and a molly in his left is gonna seal the deal. NRG elated that they've placated the fury of the Brazilians. Yeah, you and everyone else in the room, man.
Mimi, oh my god, it's good to see you again. How are you? And a spike falls, but we're still holding strong for these last 2 kills. Celsius steps up, and C9 finally tamed the Sea Serpent and ends Leviatán's hope.
I want it. The flash and the kill delivers. They prove lightning can strike the same place twice. Evil geniuses, welcome to Tokyo.
Victory finesse, just across. It's not gonna happen. Celsius gets denied by Victor, and Energy continue the era of the international events.
7 teams remain, but only one can make it to Champions Los Angeles. The stakes couldn't be higher. You got 7 teams that are vying for the last spot at Champions LA, and you've got to win it all or your year is done. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Day Uno of VCT America's Last Chance Qualifier. Of course, I'm Golden Boy alongside Mimi and Wyatt. We're here at the amazing Riot Games studio in Los Angeles. It's good to see you guys. Miss you, Wyatt. How you doing, buddy?
Great. I missed. Oh, GB.
Right?
I missed you too. You guys.
You guys. Even though Mimi's out there punching people, that's actually
I'm really nice in practice.
in practice. In theory, all right.
Facade.
It's all a facade. Now, guys, look, here's the deal. We have some awesome teams. You got Loud, NRG, and Evil Geniuses that have already punched their tickets to Champions LA. And the 7 remaining America's teams will fight it out over this nightmare of a bracket. As you can see, it all lays out over here. Now, there's some important things to note here. We only have one match today. It's MIBR versus Crew in a winner-go-home showdown. And it's most importantly, it's Latin's last chance to really be able to make something happen on the international stage. Now, some things of note here is that we have opening group matches are going to be single elimination. Cloud9 and Leviatán are waiting in the double elimination portion of the bracket, and it will be best of 5 in the lower grand finals. Mimi, this bracket is stacked.
I mean, it's so brutal for these teams who have been working hard all season to make it to the LCQ, and then for 5 of them, it's just single elimination. You play a game, you win, your season continues for a bit longer, and if not, you've taken all this time to practice, to prepare, to come back to LA, and it's just over, and you're headed home.
Yeah, the teams, they've had enough time to reinvent themselves with this month and a half or so break. So it is possible that a team like Crew, who are on the precipice of winning so many games this past season, they could actually be at that level now to take those wins that they couldn't find before.
This is really the reset point. Like you said, it's been a month off. What you did in the regular season, how well or how poorly you did what you achieved, doesn't really matter anymore because it is just this one tournament, 5 or 6 games away from making it to Champions and claiming that last spot for Americas.
And also, you know, an important thing to note here as well is that not only, you know, does that stuff like not matter, but we're also dealing with changes as well in the game. So we have changes that we're doing. Patch 7.0, as you can see right there. You know, look, we got back from Masters Tokyo and we decided to change things up a little bit. Now let's go ahead and break down what's going on over here, because for the first time, we're going to be getting all of the updates from patch 6.11 as well as 7.0 in competitive play. But there's one major exception. Obviously, Deadlock, the newest agent, is not available for play here at the LCQ. But let's go ahead, Wyatt, and talk about what is different here, because it's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, there was a ton of Pearl gameplay throughout the Americas season, more so than the other regions. And with the map changes and it being a map that so many teams were floating, that's going to be huge. The other thing that I'm very interested in seeing in this LCQ, Chamber. Is he actually going to be back? There was no Chamber play outside of Loud with Sadaka on Bind, and now with the his ult being better, the Rendezvous improved. I am interested in seeing if the Chamber meta might come back.
Yeah. And on top of that, the Americas meta throughout the regular season and the playoffs was defined by Harbor Viper. And Viper's now received a fairly substantive change where it went from 20 seconds to 30 seconds to regen her gas on all of her utility. And combined with that previous nerf where both being up at the same time furthers the decay of her fuel, it means it can be pretty hard to balance those timings. And that could, along with those Pearl changes, maybe lead to more teams shifting away from that Viper meta and finding something new in this LCQ.
Well, there's one thing we know for certain, it's that the shorty's still going to be very prominent. I mean, you never know, right? Who knows?
300 is still pretty cheap.
Yeah, it's still pretty cheap. I'm hoping to see more shorty plays, though. But, guys, there's also been just so many big updates. As you saw there, Pearl, right, that you have to explore. So let's actually go ahead and send it over to our fantastic analyst. We have Brennan Sideshow for a little hands-on demonstration where nothing will go wrong.
Professionals.
Thank you, Golden Boy. Yeah, we're going to walk you through some of the changes that have happened on Pearl here because they're fairly significant. It's affected both ends of B-Long. So I've got my trusty assistant, Brent.
I'm very trustworthy.
Very trustworthy. To walk you through what's going to happen over towards the ramp side. Well, we've got some graphics as well to show you what it looked like before and what it looked like afterwards. So this is what it looked like before. It has a ramp there. That's why people called it ramp. Now it doesn't anymore, so we'll have to come up with some new names. But it also means that you won't see plays like this from Khalil, where he was just able to dodge up and down so seamlessly and fluidly. It's just a bit more difficult to pull off something like this now.
Yeah, I mean, you can see just on the latest patch where the changes come through here. Here's the actual live example. You just can't take the same fights.
Yeah.
Like, if you're trying to peek and do what Khalil was doing, where he's like crouching, popping his head up, taking fights like this, dodging as well with the AD, you just can't do it. You're dropping down off the box if you try and do it. It's a little bit, narrower these days, so can't make the same plays.
And it should really make those post plans a little more difficult. Now, I'll take you through what's happened towards screens and halls. So we've got graphics to show you before and after here again. So screens is just slightly smaller. You can get up there without being a Jet or an Omen or something like that. And they put another 50-50 angle, kind of, over towards halls, which gives more opportunity to hold on to that as defenders or post plant players. So let's jump into the game, and I'll show you kind of what that looks like on our side of things. One of the important parts is that this normal Viper wall that you can put down, you would be able to put a little gap in it here to potentially peek through to somebody. You also might not even need to commit the wall. You can just use your Viper orb and put the wall over, a completely different area of the map, maybe cutting off Art and A main, something like that. And also on screens, you can't get spammed anymore. I mean, Brent, try and spam me here, see if you can get a kill on me.
I can spam this section here, like the orange bit, but you can't spam the corner anymore.
I'm safe now. So I'll take you and look over towards halls, and you can see that this like 50-50 angle. Right, okay, that's really unprofessional, Brent. Sorry, I'm trying to teach the people.
Dude, you're getting wrong.
Let me deal with this guy.
Okay, hold on.
Let me deal with this guy real quick. Golden Boy, I'm a bit busy.
This is just not fair. It's not fair. Hold on. Get the Odin out of your hands.
I love that.
So Brent is the guy that whenever you want to go and look at a brand new map and go into it, Brent is the guy that just frags you immediately when you go in there. You can't look at the new map.
This is why he's getting dropped for Season 2 of Premier.
Yeah, I was going to say, that actually has big implications on our Premier team moving forward. Massive implications. Wilkinson was looking terrible out there against
I know, you would think that he would have been able to get a shot against a standing still Jet, but what a bum. In any case, though, guys, all throughout our Last Chance Qualifier, make sure you use the hashtag VALORANT LCQ as well as VCT so we can feature you on the show. Make sure you bring your A game, all right? Or your tweets aren't going to make it to champs. So make sure you're out there using Twitter if, it's a thing you want to do. But in any case, though, coming on up, though, we're going to have a breakdown of today's match and the return of the man who shattered the timeline himself. It's MIBR's Chosen. And as always, we'll see you on the other side.
I still don't know what changed on Pearl.
I have no idea.
Probaron las armas del lado de Cloud9 y Crew. Doble baja de Naxer. Porque o JDZ chamou atenção e é ele mesmo! Tá dando conta do recado! 4K, Ace do JZZ!
What's good, everyone? Welcome back to the Americas LCQ. Now it's time to dive into our first match of the LCQ and our only match of the day. It's going to be Crew taking on MIBR. But let's actually recap what happened, because both of these teams really, they came into the season with high hopes, obviously, like everyone did. But unfortunately for them, Mimi, it was simply not to be the case. I mean, you could see the track there for Crew, absolute heartbreak. And for MIBR, that massive slump in the middle cost them.
Yeah, there's no real nice way to say it, but these were the bottom two teams in the standings at the end of the Americas regular season. Crew still winless, but they were so close every time to getting over that line. And for MIBR, like you were saying, they had that streak of something like 10 maps in a row lost, only to come back and just completely change the timeline and get EG into Masters right at the end.
Yeah, and the beginning of their season was so weird, too, because there were really no expectations for MIBR coming in. They didn't do great at lock-in. They didn't do great last year.
Yeah.
And then what the hell? They're beating NRG? Why did they look so good suddenly? And then after those few initial games, they just fell right back into their old ways. It was like 5 games in a row. They couldn't get a map. And then the miracle game at the end that came out of nowhere. But just a bizarre season, honestly, for MIBR.
Oh, most definitely. I mean, I think that team, going to lock in, you're right, didn't really find what they were looking for there, but we still had high hopes for the team. Whereas on the other side for Crew, we kept waiting for them to get their first win, and it never happened. And that is really frustrating here, especially considering that even in those games, they got close a few times, Mimi.
Yeah, they absolutely did. You can see that they got close pretty much every time. 14 close map wins or losses. That means decided by 3 or less rounds. 12 of those they ended up losing. You can see Leviatán up top there did okay for themselves, but really it was Crew who was constantly coming up the worst end of those close games. And it was not just against the worst teams in the league. They were pushing people like NRG, like Cloud9, even at times pushing close maps against Loud. It was always these really respectable opponents and these close games, but it just felt like there was a mental block for them to get that final hurdle.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, if you look back, they actually, like you're saying, they actually got map wins against great teams. They took a map off Cloud9, almost won another one. They beat Loud on a map.
Yeah.
They beat them on Pearl. They beat EG on a map. I mean, pretty nuts from them that they were able to keep so many games so close but never bring it across the finish line. Maybe it'll finally happen, though, today.
Yeah, it's very fascinating to see both of these teams, right, really feel like they've been on a similar path, but just completely different stories. A path of, like, trying to figure out what's going wrong, while at the same time you have teams like, MIBR, for example, that then pull off miracles. Literally, that's what this was. This was just a flat-out miracle that we saw happen against 100 Thieves, who were poised to make it.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, it feels like a miracle, but the other question in tandem with that, the MIBR guys were talking about how their previous roster with Heat, they were having internal struggles as to how they wanted to approach the game. Those went away with Chosen in the team. So I think the question moving forward, the question today is how much of that was actually the miracle juice they said before that game, and how much of it was, oh, we're actually on the same page now, even though Chosen isn't the same caliber player as he was.
And again, that kind of wraps back around to now, where you think that Heat is a star. He's a great individual player. But if he doesn't work with the squad, if he doesn't work with the kind of game that they want to play, it's just not going to be the roster for them. Chosen might not be as much of a star, but I think they can dedicate to a style that works better for them and actually look like they're playing on the same page, which is how they got that final victory.
Well, I think if it's safe to say, I mean, let's be honest, like you don't, I know it's going to sound weird to say, but EG is a great example of it. You don't need a star, you build a star.
Yeah.
And maybe they have an opportunity here in MIBR to build a star for this squad.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, Chosen isn't just an assistant coach. It's the meme that he's the guy who ended the season, blah, 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 blah. But he does have history as well, and he will be returning throughout this stage of LCQ. Way back when, this guy was playing at the top level in Brazil. He was on Pain Gaming in the first ever Tier 1 VALORANT tournament there. Yeah, this is ancient history, but he got second place. Like, this guy is a legit competitor, and he was good. And he still is.
I remember this HUD.
I mean,
it confused me so many times.
948 days. That is so long ago.
That is crazy. I mean, yeah, this was the Stone Age of Valorant. But
sticks and stones.
He's got the experience. And funny enough, he's actually playing against MW in this game. And if they win this game, they'll be playing against MW again. So, you know, funny little coincidence. But yeah, Chosen obviously has been playing recently, but he knows how to play at the top level. He's not going to have the nerves. He knows what it takes. So that is one of the major bonuses of having an assistant coach who actually knows the game inside and out and has that experience.
And honestly, I think that's what this team may have needed. The guy who can be the voice of reason, who can help them get out of that mental slump that they had after losing 10 maps straight. Someone who can be a calmer voice, add new ideas when things are going wrong. And I think that Chosen has brought that into the squad. And now the question really comes, with an extra map since that huge upset win versus 100 Thieves, how much has MIBR improved?
Yeah, and we'll find out in a little bit here, but obviously their opponents are also looking to go on that path of improvement too, as we shift our focus over to Crew here, because, you know, they coming into this matchup, there's been a lot of thoughts, a lot of discussion as to, like, you know, what's going on with this team, where they feel comfortable, what changes do they need to make, and it seems like rather than make changes, they decided to kind of stick to their guns, but do it in a manner with, like, new coaching and individuals that could kind of help elevate them here, Mimi.
Yeah, they have been together as a squad since the beginning of the season, but they were back and forth on their roster all throughout. They were in a tough go of things, and again, I think it really was something mental to never be able to get one of those series over the line. But you can see here from their coach, Adam, after their loss to then make it into LCQ, he's tweeting that with the assistant coach, they'll provide solutions, seeking to prepare with higher quality and be ready for LCQ. And he's thankful to all the people that have supported them, motivated them, and they're going to keep on working. And I think it is really simple things like that that are going to be important for Crew because they are a respectable team. That's how they got every one of those games so close. Honestly, I think they just kind of needed a break, a chance to reset.
Yeah. I mean, I think, like, the mental reset, and we can't stress enough, right? Like, how difficult this is for, you know, especially for our colleagues coming from South America, you know, like needing to come to a completely different place, Wyatt, and incorporate yourself and also play at the highest level. This is not easy to do. So these guys are really facing multiple challenges, not just in the server.
Yeah, and you're 100% right. I think that time off, even just being able to take a break might be what a lot of these teams need, and not even to necessarily reinvent themselves. Just take it easy, take a deep breath. The season was grueling, and especially for Crew, when you're just taking loss after loss, but in close fashion, just being so close to the finish line, the frustration that has to set in from that over time must be seriously damaging to the mental, to the team mental.
Yeah, but you're gonna need players to step up, right? At this point in time, it's do or die. You got to throw it all out there. And one of the players that we're definitely focusing on here has to be Kesnet. This guy, you know, he's always at the top of the mind when you discuss players on Crew because of the impact that he has on this team, Mimi. But you're really looking for a Herculean performance from here today for him to be able to, you know, start this run that they'll have to make of 5 games in order to make it to Champions LA.
And he's always delivered on that. Even when Crew has been struggling, Kesnet has been good. This guy has been consistently a top-level player in Americas and in the international scene even before that. But now really the question for me around Crew is when these games get close, when things get weird, how can they avoid these situations where Kesnet is pushing it too far, where he's taking too many risks, especially because today he's facing up against JZZ, the guy who's just filled into that jet role for Heat, and I think has fixed a lot of those overheating problems that MIBR also had.
At the beginning of the season, when MIBR got those wins we were talking about against NRG, etc., JZZ was the guy for the team then, and he was doing it on the initiator role, playing a lot of Sky. And now he's headed back to the original role he was on last year with MIBR. He's on the duelist again. And if he plays at that early season level, he could carry the team to the finish line against a player of the caliber of Kesnet.
Yeah, that's what you're hoping for, right?
Yeah.
And it's going to be interesting to see, obviously, how this plays out. We'll see what JZZ brings to the table as well. But as we get closer to today's match, it's time, though, for a little bracketology. We need some predictions, and who better than Brennan's Sideshow, because they always turn this segment into bickering. So what we decided to do is that we decided to cut out the noise. That's right, literally, because we gave them noise-canceling headphones to make their bracket. Ha! Take it away, boys. Nothing can go wrong.
Oh, we are. Okay. Welcome to Bracketology version 6 or 7. I don't know. I'm shouting a lot. I don't know what this sounds like. I don't have any feedback. Josh can't understand me.
I got everything.
I can't understand Josh. I can't hear a word you're saying.
Listen, set me up here.
Start building a bracket. We're going to give each other commands. Noise cancelling headphones. Josh, I want you to get. Give me crew.
I think he said crew.
Vamos! Go! Crew!
All right.
We're taking too long already. Yes, crew.
So this one through.
I don't think I'm giving you too clear of a direction.
Okay.
What team for me?
Okay, I want you to go and get Furia. Like a panther. I think.
What is he?
think we should be able to communicate that.
They're up here. This is. Bloody hell, what have they stuck this to?
We've only got 2 minutes on the clock. Come on, time.
Okay, I gotta.
Furia. Yeah, you know how a bracket works, bro. Put it there. Put it there.
Okay, go. This is an important one. Cloud game.
Yeah?
Cloud game. I love hoodies.
What?
I love hoodies. I'm wearing a hoodie.
Hoodie hog.
Yes.
100
thieves. Yes.
No.
Go.
No. I mean, I know what he's trying to communicate to me, but we'll play.
What are you doing? That's
this one?
Whoever's controlling the music has just...
Hoodie.
They're putting on an absolute banger right now.
This one?
Okay.
Good. Cloud. How do I communicate? Cloud9. Cloud.
This song is so much louder.
9.
What are you saying?
9.
6,
Cloud.
7, 8, 9, 10.
9. 9.
C9. Yep. C9 win? They win?
C9 win. C9 looked so good in the regular season towards the end. There we go. Perfect.
Okay.
So,
it's me again.
Yeah, I'm
tell me what to
losing it. Bren, we have 50 seconds.
Time. Get it, Lev. Leviatán, that's the spike! That's the spike!
Okay.
Yeah.
Leviatán. Okay. So that means that Furia go down there as well. Furia, down there. Furia.
You're just pointing at
I mean, that's just how brackets work. I'll go and get Sentinels. Sentinels.
Are you just making stuff up? What do you want from me?
Like a sentinel. How do I describe a sentinel? Like, I don't know. What are the sentinels in games? All right, we've got to fill the rest of this out quickly.
I didn't realize there was a timer this whole time. I didn't even realize there was a timer. There, Sentinels. What? What? Do you not have a Sentinel? We ran out of time. I'm assuming. Pretend that's Sentinels. We'll throw it back, I think. I can't get any cues. I don't know what's happening.
Oh, okay. Well then, so crew wins, I guess. They say that Sentinels, but I believe my eyes more than I believe the lying words that come out of Brennan's Sideshow's mouth. So crew's gonna win the LCQ. Wyatt, your thoughts?
I'm rolling with it. I got it. Sure. It'll be a little 2021 champions type beat.
How incredible would it be though if all this happens and then crew ends up winning, but we didn't have their track predicted throughout the bracket at all?
Yeah, because they're just winning. It doesn't matter.
They come in with a Money in the Bank briefcase and just hit Sentinels over the head and cash in. I'm actually all about this. All right, guys. Well, you know what? Let's see if that ends up happening. You're going to have to stay tuned to VCT Last Chance Qualifier to find out, right? But, guys, we heard from our experts.
They're scientists.
They're really just a crackpot scientists. And of course, we have to hear now from our unbiased LCQ scriptwriter. We actually have one, by the way, and see how they designed the tournament to play out.
Now that's a bad script. If I were to write the script for LCQ, it would go a little something like this. First match, 100 Thieves versus Sen. 100 Thieves missed out of playoffs to a coach. Sen, I had to save them in the past. Don't really see them winning without me. I'm gonna have to take 100 Thieves on that one. Then they play us. MIBR versus Crew. Crew had a couple close games. I have MIBR going through just because I think the coach is, for some reason, not bad on MIBR, and he plays with no pressure because he's a coach. So I have MIBR taking that. And then they play Furia in the next game. I don't think Furia really has that it factor right now. So I have MIBR taking that again with the coach, no pressure. So they're gonna be playing with the utmost confidence. Upper stage final matches, us versus 100 Thieves. We have to get our revenge for Red Bull home ground. Can't put us in losing, whatsoever. Leviatán versus MIBR. Leviatán, obviously me and Taco Ilya has that ranked beef. We squashed it already, but we have that ranked beef, so now I gotta bring it back. I have MIBR taking that match as well. Upper final, I have us and MIBR. If I lose to a coach, I'm just gonna FF after the upper bracket final. I'm not gonna play lower bracket because I'm gonna have to play some dogs or something in the lower bracket, and that's just not gonna be a good time. I have us going to the grand final, obviously. Can't put us in the loser, And then lower bracket final, I think it's gonna be something along the lines of Sen Leviatán, probably. Finals to play us in the upper grand final. I mean, I have Sen taking it if they play versus Leviatán. I think Sen were kind of finding their stride with Marv, and they're looking a lot better. I assume the grand final is gonna be a best of 5. And I have us taking it just because, we've been a team longer than they have. We beat them in the regular season. And, I have to steal their clout. And it'd be a nice storyline to eliminate Sen in the grand final. So I have us, Cloud9, taking grand finals and making champs.
I really think we have to start reevaluating our hiring process
Isn't
for our
it crazy
script
that he
writers.
made almost the same bracket as Brennan Josh?
Just the final. It was
Just
the winner
the final.
wrong. He got the winner wrong,
Yeah.
but it was pretty.
It's Crew, but
it was okay.
Yeah, we all know it's going to be Crew. I mean, that goes without saying. The bracketology experts said that it's going to be Crew despite them losing in the lower bracket. It's fascinating how this all works out here. But we really do need to reevaluate our hiring process for this riot. So can we please get on it? Okay, that'd be fantastic. In any case, so guys, look, the stakes couldn't be higher for both teams, right? And a loss here means that you're out of this competition. You're done. Your year's over. Kaput. That's it. And getting a win here today is going to be massive because one of these two teams, if they want to make a run to champs, it will have to be utterly legendary for them to do so, given the track that they're going to have to go on. 5
or 6 matches.
Nuts.
You have to win 2 in a row first to even make it to the double elimination section. For these teams that were the low seeds in the regular season, it is such an impossible run to make it to LCQ, to make it through LCQ and qualify into champions. And especially for these South American teams, it's so important because these guys have sacrificed so much, moving halfway across the world to come to Los Angeles to compete, to practice. From what I heard, MIBR didn't even get a chance to really go home between practicing, trying to reinvent themselves. That's how much is put into this LCQ and how high the stakes are for these teams. And immediately on the first day, only one gets to continue.
Yeah, this one series means everything for both of these teams. And then whoever wins it, they have one series that means everything to both teams because this format is so brutal. And when you're practicing for that long, we talked about the reinventing yourselves, but even if you do that, a couple missed shots, someone not showing up how they might have in previous games can make all the difference. And if you're that guy who misses those shots and you lose that map, well, you have 5 months for the rest of the year to think about that one moment that you might have messed up. That is brutal.
And in the same vein, that does allow a miracle run to happen. One of these teams could run the gauntlet here. There is a lot of variance in single elimination in a small tournament setting like this when you don't have week by week to go back and change your style, to re-prepare. You are going up against surprise after surprise. So the impossible is possible. And either of the teams today really do have a chance to make a run out of this.
Yeah, well, I mean, guys, I'm excited for this matchup. Time's running out, so let's go ahead and do some predictions here. We got whiteboards standing by.
Yep.
We paid millions of dollars for. Okay, here we go. Wyatt, who you got? Upside down.
Crew. That's Crew, baby.
Okay, Crew. All right, Mimi.
I'm also on the Crew chain.
Whoa,
I think while MIBR had their kind of comeback right at the very end, it was solid, but I don't know if it's going to be enough against Crew. I think this is the moment where they break through and finally win a series.
I believe in my boy Bazooka, and I believe in MIBR, so I'm going with MIBR. But this is going to be a very interesting matchup, folks. And the coaches, Adam and Bazooka, are standing by for map picks. So let's go ahead and get this show started. Today, two teams are fighting for redemption and a shot at champions Los Angeles. And a loss means your season is over. It's MIBR versus Crew. Day one of VCT America starts right now.
The goal this year is to be able to go to champions.
The pressure is on.
Let's go!
Parece que ganarle a todos.
Skills do capitão, ele quer mais!
Oh, looking for the transfer! And he's gonna get it!
What are you guys doing?
First misses the second, does not!
Para você ser o melhor, você tem que ganhar dos melhores.
Buena, weón!
Anyone can take any game off one another.
Saucy gets three!
And the B-side is now open! What a shot!
Ai, ai, ai! Sensacional!
Last Chance Qualifier, la última oportunidade de nosotros classificar a Champions.
É a maior oportunidade que eu já tive, eu não vou deixar ela ir embora sem que eu dê o meu máximo.
No sé qué me espero, la verdad, de MIBR para el próximo partido.
Confiança e diversão é o nosso foco para a partida.
JCC! Agora a última experiência
Na minha opinião, a Crew é o favorito do desafio, eles são os favoritos. Querendo ou não, eu voltei a jogar tem pouco tempo.
Considero que para esta etapa, Crew, digamos, siento que todos venimos renovados.
Sí, buena jefe! Y Cloud9, se nos va, pues.
Si le intenta correr a David, no se le puede correr a David.
No, Crew.
Sí, ya no importa, o sea, que hayamos salido 9-0, 4-5 o cualquier cosa, sino que lo que importa es ganar el Last Chance.
Okay, guys, we're gonna start the VCT map pick bands. MIBR, you guys are higher seeds, so which team would you want? Team A or Team B? MIBR will be Team B, which means Crew will be Team A. Okay, so let's start with the first pick from Crew for map 1.
First band.
Oh, first band, sorry, first band.
First band?
Yeah.
We band.
So Crew bans Fracture. MIBR, second map ban.
We band splits.
MIBR bans Splits. Crew for the first map pick.
We pick bind.
Crew picks Bind. And what side for Bind? Attack. MIBR for the second map.
We pick Lotus.
Lotus. And what side for Lotus? Attack. Now Crew bans another map.
We ban Haven.
Crew bans Haven. MIBR, you ban another map.
We ban Pearl.
Pearl. So decider map is Ascents. And Crew, what side do you want on Ascents?
We defend.
Defense. So we'll go over it again. Crew bans Fracture. MIBR bans Split. Crew picks Bind for map 1. MIBR is attack on Bind. MIBR picks Lotus for map 2. Crew's attack. Crew bans Haven. MIBR bans Pearl.
Decider map is Ascent, Crew is Defense on Ascent. All right, good luck, have fun.
Es momento de presentar al primer equipo que estará peleando en este LCQ. Tenemos a Davis, Klaus, Melzer, Kesney, Naxet y el entrenador Atom. Con ustedes, Esports.
E agora, representando o Brasil, Muriz, FRZ, RGL, JZZ, Tiozinho e o Coach Bazooka. Façam barulho pro MIBR!
Mantive a cabeça no prêmio, sempre subindo o nível. E hoje pra sorrir eu tenho meu motivo. Realizando sonhos que da onde eu vim me parece impossível. Contabilizo o ganho, meu time subindo igual míssil. Sem mudança de plano, se eu tô no jogo eu entro pra ganhar. 100% de dano se tá na minha mira, não tem como esquivar, não. 24 horas foco na missão, predestinado cheio de ambição. E daqui de cima do topo, inimigo tá longe do meu alcance de visão. Aqueles que riram de mim hoje vão me aplaudir. Mantendo essa história viva eu não posso falhar. Mais de 20 anos é nós que ritma o Brasil. E quem tenta contra a família, infelizmente nós vai derrubar. Não mexe com essas minas que elas são perigo. Tem muita munição no pente, sempre dedo no gatilho, nunca corre risco. Hoje é elas que mandam, nem testa. Se meus manos estão na pista, de longe te avista. E você já até sabe o final.
It's do or die for both of these teams here. You gotta make a legendary run in order to make it the champions LA. And these two teams have a monumental task ahead of them, Mimi.
Both teams had rough seasons in Americas, to put it lightly. The bottom two in the standings, but that does not matter anymore. They're both back to a set roster, one they're confident in. They've had a month off to prep, to reset the mental barriers that they had back in Americas. And this is now a new and final chance for them to make a run.
Absolutely. I'm interested in seeing if MIBR are going to feel the pressure that they might not have felt in that last game of the season when they beat 100 Thieves.
For sure.
When they capped it off with that miracle win. Are they going to be able to retain that same level of play when everything is on the line for the rest of their year?
Yeah. And talk of things changing already, I feel a little bit of a surprise in the map veto. Crew constantly picked Ascent pretty much every time throughout the regular season. Here they had an opportunity. They instead send us to Bind, which they've only played once, and we haven't seen MIBR on yet.
It's only right that MIBR take us to Lotus again, though, where the iconic chosen knife incident occurred. That final map that they took over 100 Thieves, changing the course of Tokyo and Valorant history. Floating Ascent, though, I think that could be a major risk and possibly, if it gets there, a nail in the coffin for MIBR.
Yeah, that third map could be very good for Crew if we get there. But let's rewind a little bit and talk about Bind. The last and only time that we got to see Crew on this map, they were running kind of a Fnatic-esque comp. They were going for a Viper Brimstone, actually, and brought the Cypher into the mix as well. A little bit unusual from what most teams have been running there. And now this is kind of the question of, with that month off, will they stick with this composition, which they lost one game on, or are they going to try something new? I think for me, the biggest thing is, do teams stick to the Viper?
Yeah, that actually a great. Actually, we're getting the Cypher here, and we saw. I think you had mentioned right, like Fnatic running this comp, and it was also because you had Alfear just hitting some nutty shots that it also worked out really well for them. But I think that there's a lot of value there in being able to have that agent that can kind of come in toward the tail end, and Davies is definitely going to have to be that guy. But we're seeing the rest of the the fold come on in here, and business as usual.
I'm interested in seeing what Klaus is going to bring to the server today. I think he had a rough season. He switched over to this initiator role, and I want to see if that month and a half has allowed him to step up his play from when we last saw him.
It looks like for the side of MIBR, they might be going towards something similar for their first go here on Bind since the changes. It is kind of becoming more and more common for these solo Sky comps with that Cypher in the mix to be good. That's what I'd expect FRZ to lock in at the end here. But I think we definitely have to look at this Raze battle to get things going. JZZ, he was a duelist player in the early days of MIBR before they came into Americas here. He's now returning to the role. And my question is, how can he coordinate with Maurice? And how can they add this chamber into the mix? A little bit of a Loud-esque comp.
Yeah, there it is. The Brazilian chamber coming out once again for the first game. And that was one of the questions I had. How is chamber going to impact the meta with the buffs from that latest patch?
Quick reminder, it's longer range on his utility, more options. You can also instantly shoot once you're out of that teleport. So they're cooking something here. Let's see if MIBR has what it takes to take down Crew.
All right, well, let's go ahead and kick off map 1 of this LCQ and send it over to your casters. Back again on the America stage, it's Van Sillington III. That name's gonna stick.
That's never going to be old. These names coming up from GB, but thank you so much. And yes, Riv, the stage has been set now here for LCQ, and it's go big
Pressure's
or go
on.
home. Exactly. And to start things off, I'm actually quite surprised here, looking at Vine, that Crew is not the team that's pulling out the chamber. We're going with the EG Loud style onto MIBR side instead.
Yeah, Crew seems to be playing a little bit safer. I do like the Cypher picks as well. It gives you a lot of cover on the flank so Crew can focus forward, really control the map. If they want to work one side, they still have the Cypher utility on the other side of the map, so you don't have to fully retake things. But give them a lot of options if they can make it. MIBR, though, choosing attack to start, and for the first 2 maps, the teams chose attack. So it looks like they're trying to put their foot down right away and really start the pace of this game. I'm excited to see what we have in store. The analyst desk continued to talk about how much time the teams have had, but how they use that time as well, whether they were kind of just grinding, practicing, or finding that new identity.
Exactly. And looking at this game, starting off on by no changes coming out from Crew in the last time we saw them play on this map. So what do you fine-tune? What have you refined now as they start off on the defense? MIBR first time coming out with this composition and first time coming out swinging as they take control of U-Haul. And it's an open site, passive play for Davies in A.
Yeah, nothing stops this first round strat unless all 5 Crew members are there. So you see MIBR, pistol round set in stone. They wanted to get to U-Haul, now full control of A. But how silent it is makes it a little creepy here. They don't like that they haven't seen any Crew, and one goes down off the TP vans.
First blood drawn by Melzer, but JZZ answers back, pushing through to TP, looking to flank towards the spawn. It's actually now Nagsit on an island by himself. Dodges the pain shells, and JZZ gets the kill no matter what. B site open, plant coming down for MIBR.
Dumping util into the site, headshot coming into Hookah right away. 4v3.
Pain shells coming down. Does a little bit of damage here, but the pulse plan is still successful for MIBR, setting up towards the back of the site. Crew, 3 players moving forward on long B, looking for some contacts, but it's just sprays, trying to flush out their opponents. MIBR passively. Flash comes through, beautiful by Claus. That second one, RGL is fully blinded, but there is support from Marines. 2 versus 2 now. The right kick classics don't work, and it's JZZ now on a 2 versus 1. Needs a clutch to start things off, but it's only good enough for 1. Crew comes back for the retake and a defuse.
Patience from Crew there, realizing MIBR tried to hit just about every angle of the map before that hit to B. And I love that first strat by MIBR. You see a variation of what is usually a Raze blast packing over truck to spawn and pushing spawn. The full team of MIBR works up there with Raze, then they back up to go towards the B site. So nice little misdirection there of a hard A hit to a B fake, but Crew reads it really well, and they come up with that pistol round. See what they can keep going here as they get into round number 2. MIBR plays a little bit towards B this time, and that wall that MIBR has set up could allow a lurk towards showers if we see Chosen use it correctly. Let's see how they play this attack. Real slow right now to start things off. I'm just waiting to see if Crew will have any forward aggression with their utility that MIBR could get the better of once they do finally take that site. Touch and go. Nags gets seen there in U-Haul. It looks like MIBR will finalize their movement towards B.
You see the responsibility from FRZ. Very similar to watch the showers push. Already been smoked out by Crew to pick up an orb. Working the ultimates in the later rounds. As we flash out for info, it confirms now the rotation of Kesnit from A to B. A minute left on the clock though, and MIBR still wants to inch very slowly and carefully.
Yep.
Trying to make some noise here with the Trailblazer out on short.
that was coming out here from Maurice.
Exactly, misdirection towards the A side to hopefully get Crew to lean. Good dodge by Davies, back in for the team. Played so well in the last 2 games of the regular season here. Looking to defend the B site.
A great camera set up now by Davies. Tagging some players, but it's still FRZ that gets the first blood in this round. Trader right back on a 4 versus 4. And MIBR is just looking to punish as soon as these smokes come down. Davies under heavy fire, but does have support from Kesnit. More players to fall down from MIBR. And there's still only 15 seconds left now. Spike finally falls down. A great hold in the end. And as you work as a group now for MIBR, you still can come in for a plant.
Great comms. Everybody stayed in the back there, avoiding a lot of that initial MIBR utility. I think Davies being able to go back and forth underneath gave everybody else the information to help him and get the kills that they needed. So another B hit coming in here. MIBR shows a little favoritism towards B after quite a few fakes towards A. They've tried to commit that now, conditioning a fake towards A, hit towards B. And we'll see if it bothers Crew as we get into our bonus round here. As MIBR is going to be coming up with weapons. 2 away from that JZZ ultimate. And they don't have showers control just yet. More of the same strategy to default now for MIBR.
Ooh. That has done some damage actually onto Melzer. Tap in on the spike. That's FRZ still fighting for it, but now finally Kesnit. Already a showstopper in round number 3. Meanwhile, we have gotten some info in the early rounds, or the early seconds of the round with the flash coming out towards long, identifying MIBR slowly working the map once again on a default.
Nags creeping up in mid, looking for audio cues, then pressure. To see who's confident to get the first peeks out, right? This is the last chance for these teams. It's what I call the last chance qualifier. So every frag has so much impact. And you can see how timid everybody is to get that first peek without utility. Here, dry movement from Chosen.
There's a battle of utility between both Vipers as pulling up smokes and up and down all the time, and still that 1 versus 1 between Chosen and Nagsit.
The creep up here from FRZ actually gains great space. They're going to have that showers control as they try to hit the site now with util, and it will force Crew back to start things off.
Finally gain that space. Molly to deny for a bit, allowing the rotation from Crew coming out from B. Snake bite, but Nagsit clears it. Does get the dink, but no kill. Chosen trying to fight back, but meanwhile we have taken control of showers outside towards triple.
Spike down A.
13 seconds left on the clock. Another slow round coming out for MIBR for a last second plant.
10 seconds left.
Chosen finally opens up the site for a bit. The showstopper up. Klaus also
Spike's not down.
The plant coming down, and that's a 14 and ace for Klaus.
No shot. That's how MIBR loses the bonus round. Crew so patient. None of the early util from MIBR really affected Crew. They adjusted, they positioned themselves in sight, and as soon as the planter started to hit Spike, that's one less person watching an angle. That was the movement of Crew. They knew when to collapse, and the timing was perfect. Klaus feeling like he needs to put up some numbers there. We heard the season he was having from Wyatt just a moment ago, but feeling good on that. Standing up, didn't even want to sit down in the end. Adrenaline pumping there, and Crew win a very, very big round. MIBR now to Sheriffs.
What a heroic play there by Klaus, doing that all by himself towards the A site.
And that was, they got first blooded too. That was a 4v5 conversion for Crew.
And that player himself. For Crew overall this season, yes, they've had heartbreaking losses throughout the season, but the roster itself kept shifting in and out of responsibilities of Crew sitting out. Klaus to bring in Ashley, for example, as the initiator role. Now Klaus has a chance to shine once again. Back on the roster for this elimination game between Crew and MIBR.
Crew known to show well against the Brazilian teams. Here they start off on fire, and not even the teleport's gonna help FRZ there.
Caught off guard.
Uh-oh.
Dodges for a bit. And lands the shot onto Klaus just as we sang his praise. But at least Kesnit is there.
Down B.
Up in the cubby of the B side. Pain shells onto JZZ. And he's farming already. Halfway once again to another showstopper.
Kesnit there saw his image in the pre-show. One that they have to look towards. One that they need a player to go off, and Kesnit is showing that right now. 2 nades in that round to just completely shut down the octagon area. And the second one to solidify the kill on his counterpart in JZZ. He knew it. He's just waiting for the explosion after the throw. It's that moment, just the success. 4 rounds in a row now for Crew. Back to weapons for MIBR. And they continue to pressure this long to start off, feeling like they'll get a little bit of a touch and go, maybe a fight that JZZ can win. And then at Crew backs up. They let MIBR creep up, and then just get caught in these traps.
Especially after that snake bite that was thrown by Chosen. Camera's now set up. Breaking now the Trailblazer being set out by the attack, and MIBR finally moving a little bit quicker than other rounds, but it's Klaus answering first once again through the second kill out from Klaus. And they are getting denied. MIBR cannot cross the line of scrimmage outside of Hookah or towards Long B. And already 2 players stand. And it might even be the call to save.
Klaus's quick adjustments are so absurd right now. The flash and then identifying he was actually ran around by someone, still picking up the double there at elbow. And the first kill through the smoke as well. MIBR is just being chipped away before they are finding success in these rounds. What punishment from Crew here. And MIBR, they come in with the chamber. They choose attack first. There's an idea that they want to get into motion. Left. Had nothing going so far here as Crew continues to hit the shots and just stuff these hits on each site.
Oh, yeah. And the layers around it and how they want to anchor.
Last player standing.
Gets cleared by Klaus.
Spike down, B.
Chosen falls, but yeah, like the toxic screen that comes up here on the defense from Nags. Couple of meters behind that, you have the traps that are being set out by Davies, and MIBR just really can't get into either of these sites.
Exactly. Even with clearing a few of the Cypher traps, Davies making it incredibly hard, and Klaus's extra utility to come in after that. And on the A side, I don't think Crew is being affected as much as MIBR wants them to be affected by the Viper Wall. There's not much that they're able to get pushed or pressured with that Viper Wall going up and down, and we just see Crew playing patient in the back, not giving up any free kills. And Chosen's not really able to get the information, I think, that MIBR is looking for in these lurks, in this 3-1-1 strategy that MIBR keeps playing.
Yeah.
Spike down this round, so we know this one's taking a little longer with Sheriffs Abound and Maurice with that Guardian here. Looks like they'll flex B. They've gotten B a lot. Maybe they start to get that condition working for them and hit a quick A if they can get a rotation out of Crew here.
I'm so happy. I get to say it again.
Say it.
Tour de Force.
Oh.
Out for FRZ after picking up the orb towards Long. Looking for the timing with this wall coming down. You hear the Trailblazer also pushing out opponents towards A. So he's trying to catch one off the rotate, but Klaus also pulls out his own Trailblazer to push him back.
MIBR is hitting these sites so slow.
That's the thing.
2 players of Crew are being able to lean back and forth in spawn. Melzer and Kesnet were just going buddy system back and forth. Now they split to a default, which still defends whatever they need to. Another B hit, however, coming from MIBR here on this low buy.
Investing the Seekers to open up the site. Hopefully they can get a pick here. You hear the ring shots of the duel de force, but it's Klaus once again with the assist coming out from the trap wires from Davies. RGL Meister also gets wall banged by Davies as he gets caught by another trip. Nothing they could do. 18 seconds left. As FRZ pretty much here with this duel de force. Hoping to pad some stats, but it's not gonna work. He gets canceled right away by Melzer. Now you gotta die, buddy. Woo. Once again, another one through smokes. Crew is looking good today.
MIBR, they're like testing themselves. You're going into the blind and find utility of both Davies and Klaus over and over and not finding the result you want, whether it's a gun round or whether it's a save round. And looking at what Klaus used to play, super regular and shooting through smokes, looking for that identification as an old Sova player. Being behind smokes and taking out your target due to a ping is in his nature. So being able to get those frags from elbow is just another day at the job for Klaus right now, and he is having a grand time, especially with Davies in sight, giving even more information. So B has to be figured out if they're going to keep hitting it. It's on lockdown.
The map in itself, when you're looking at how MIBR is currently hitting these sites, there's like, yes, 10 to 30 seconds, maybe even less sometimes. And you look at what you have left for Crew in those moments. Paint shells are still available. They still have a brimming molly. Snake bites are still available from Nags. So they have post-plant delays or plant delays not allowing MIBR to even plant. So they had to figure out how they could break this utility very early against Crew, who on their side, as Mimi was asking on the desk, have they refined and optimized a little bit of their strategy with that month period that they've just got? Right after Masters, of course, they had to watch it from the sidelines, but they are definitely looking good with all these trap plays that they're currently setting up here on B.
Yeah, and you can't fault MIBR. You're getting your priority smokes out, elbows covered. You can't stop somebody continuously spamming you through a smoke. They don't have a sage wall to throw up. We're not in that meta. And so it becomes difficult. You need a different entry. They either need to waterfall out of hookah and figure out how to get past these traps, or create pressure another way, and here in mid, they will.
Oh. Off the timeout, it's actually Crew pushing aggressively, catching FRZ to trade off his teammates. That's Klaus with another one on the board. Camera spotting the last 3 players, traps one, Trailblazer pushing him away. But Crew seems to be ready.
Davies doesn't even want to fight it, wants to wait for the team.
Well done. Now, as he's waiting for the team, the Cavalry has arrived back towards the spawn. And that's the delay that we're talking about right here. In the POV of JZZ, Molly and Snakebite on the ground. Trailblazer to push him back, getting info, also getting the stun onto JZZ as the plant finally comes down.
Oh, and they swarm
right away. They swarm through, and we're trying to fight back from MIBR. It's just not good. Wow. The trades are perfect on top of that for Crew, so not only for trap plays, but the synergy that they have for Crew on these retakes. It's pristine so far.
Yeah, it's absurd. I mean, MIBR is taking so long to find Crew in the sites. It has to feel weird planting, knowing they're about to flood in each and every time. The way Crew is playing safe right now is so dangerous. It sounds weird, but it's incredibly dangerous to the way that MIBR is taking these sites. You see the Crew watch parties going off right now as Crew is doing the same. 7 straight rounds, and they are deleting MIBR in these rounds, even though you see defuses there. All the players are going down, so the economy isn't able to build for MIBR right now, and Crew is punishing them.
You have some conditioning. Multiple times have MIBR put a snake bite towards long B. And a flash to combine with that, but they're working towards short. Look at that rotate coming out from Kesnin already. A weakened A site, an opportunity for MIBR to strike.
Showers control will come up short here, but MIBR wait for the util, and here in we go.
Showstopper is just going to clear the space for now. Crew okay to give it all up, but more ults are still available. Orbital strike for a pulse plant. But it's RGL mixed out of it with 8 HP before it gets to heal back up. An opportunity to win here as this. The pit also comes up now for Chosen.
And the finesse ultimate. Trying to control the site, scare your opponent out. MIBR with one of the best chances to get back into this game, possibly make it a 7-5 with a straight comeback.
Spamming through with the Seekers. That's the first time the op comes out for Kesnit. Melzer runs inside the pit to drop Moritz. Puts up the ult. And spots the last 3 players. Again, RGL playing the pulse plant. They have to hunt him down. FRC holding his angle down towards Showers. Chosen also doing his job. And the numbers dwindle down for Crew. An opportunity finally for the first round to come in for MIBR, and it is gonna happen.
One enemy remaining.
Bit of a replay. As JZZ went in, it was a bit of a replay of the first round we saw from MIBR. Straight to that U-Haul, gather control, but they stayed this time. They made sure A could be theirs, even with that utility coming out of Crew. A nice round out there. Spike planted a little bit of money back for MIBR and hope at the end of the tunnel. It has been punishing so far. So they go to A for one time, and it works.
Yeah.
Now what do they do? Because B was a shutdown for 7 straight.
And just like we can't escape the 9-3 curse, we can't escape this scoreline either. 7-1 right now. Crew still in the lead. As MIBR, a little bit of wind behind the sails here, hoping to tie in 2 in a row. As Davies with another different setup, even a different position.
Crew ready with priority ultimates here. Kesnit on deck as well. That orbital strike ready to clear out MIBR if they do get ground. Spike is down over by Market right now. This 2-2-1 is just attempted from MIBR.
Okay, so we talked about trying to waste that utility a bit. Already the pain shells are used, and FRZ gets a lurk kill onto Nagzek, but gets easily traded out.
Switched out to util play to the 1v1s and see if people can get these first shots off as MIBR doing a few more dry peeks in this again. JZZ, a bullet skimming right by his head there as they make their way into A site for the plant.
As it looks like he still wanted another one. Trailblazers are now coming out. There's the orbital strike. It will actually clear out RGL, but at least the plant comes down for MIBR. Nice job here by Moritz to watch the flank against Davies. Even situation now as it's Crew once again looking for the retake. No flashes available and also an operator. It's going to be very difficult now for Crew to work this through. They're playing this very patiently. Tucked behind the corners. Sprays through the toxic screen as a 1-for-1 comes in. Nice flash from Moritz to then come in for the last two. And that's the 2 rounds that they wanted to kick things off in the first half for MIBR.
MIBR shaking off the cobwebs. They're starting to get a groove going now. Still losing a few members, but the buys should come through. They should be able to stave off the more pressure here from Crew. A much slower round and more commitment to the fakes.
Yeah.
A hard commitment to 2 and Hookah right up to the jump out. And then 2 are pretty far up on A. So it scrambled a bit of the rotation, that lean and spawn that Crew has been doing so easily to read the play. So that speed after MIBR wanted to execute was a big plus that round. The operator no longer on the map. I'm sure MIBR is happy about that here as they look to play towards A once again. They realize just going at this Cypher util at B was not working, but they're going to face it at A now, Vance.
Melzer's playing behind. Oh, just saw the cap of JZZ. Setting up right now. He's walking away. Could get caught.
Okay. Oof. A little scary.
That was a close call, but at least for MIBR, still satcheling in, taking control of U-Haul. Okay, the trips are coming out on the A side. This time traps a few, and that's Davies once again. No matter where he's at, he's just tripping everybody.
Smoke's down.
Easy plant. Showers control is perfect, so this isn't Crew getting in too easily. And goes down.
Paint Shells combo. Showstopper available. 4 versus 2 in favor of Crew. There's that Trailblazer to start things off. Led by Klaus. Showstopper to spot FRZ. That's going to land 100% of the time. And Kesnet just retakes it alone.
The shutdown. It's like Crew, it feels like, are coming in with such ferocity on these attacks. We know MIBR was playing nice and loose towards the end of the season, feeling it out. And they still need to bring that looseness, but with the pressure on, they need to be focusing on what the result of the strat is. Getting taken out a lot by util and not being able to identify pressure points that they can't get out of, like the nades or baiting out that nade and then planning kind of situations.
Yeah.
Or what they need to look for.
The round before when they got that second round.
Exactly. Crew has an answer to 90% of what MIBR is doing right now, and MIBR just needs to realize that and pull out that util first. Do a little bit more identifying as they did, like you said, on the round before with the push-up 2-1-2. And we'll see what they have. A little bit of a timeout here. And we'll get back in. Crew still with full domination on the game. It took, I think, 7 rounds for a plant to go down for MIBR to really get to the sites to where it worked out for them and get that extra money. So,
since pistol round, pretty much.
Yeah, the control of the game has been fully in Crew, in favor of Crew.
And that's the interesting factor as well, where you brought up that question mark. Trying to understand MIBR starting off on the attack. Maybe they have something cooked up here for Vine, and you're starting with a 7-0 scoreline. There's got to be a little bit of doubt here that now sits here in the back of the mind of MIBR, especially now after this timeout. Stuck on a half buy. 2 stingers out available now for MIBR and a Spectre. Maybe try to work for the orb control once again to get a duel de force out for FRZ. And pressure on shower seems to be the name of the game for that orb control. There's a double satchel from JZZ. A flash, but he gets blinded. That's Kesnet getting the kill, fully blinded himself as well. Snakebite on the other end, but FRZ could not move forward to capitalize on a kill. Great utility usage now used by Nags to allow Crew to fall back and get another kill with paint shells for Kesnet.
Both teams leaving. A heal coming across now from Klaus to get Kesnet all healed up in spawn. and they're back to safety.
Oh my gosh.
Oh!
Spike down A.
Everyone's on. Like the 1v1s are being won right now.
Yeah.
Like we said, MIBR was going for a few more dry peeks to maybe throw Crew off guard, but Crew has some laser aim right now coming into these rounds. The last one for the switch is Crew take it right back into their favor for 2.
I just thought it was going to be smoke kills and pulse plant utility that was going to be used by Crew every single time to be able to get these rounds. But instead, when they have an opportunity to strike with shots, man, are they clean.
Spike down.
For the double controller comp being on the side of MIBR, there's still a lot of angles open that we're seeing when the sites are being taken. It seems like there's either a little bit of disjointed play between the smoke up or down, or what angles the team believes are covered in those situations, because Crew is just tearing MIBR apart in these takes.
Yeah.
One of our final round buy for MIBR that will have weapons to it, except for that stinger for FRZ, and then we'll get our halftime.
Yeah. Well, that's at least with his casualties able to pull out the total false with that stinger. So taking control of showers once again, not allowing Crew to push out aggressively in the beginning of these rounds towards the A site. A little bit of utility exchange going left and right here, forcing out an early pit from Crew in U-Haul. I'm sorry, Hookah.
This is the util grab. This is what we wanted to see MIBR do, right? Spikes down. Convince Crew that you're committing to that position. But where's the space been gained otherwise? It's just retaking the other side of the map. There isn't any encroachment up short. Showers control hasn't been gained yet. And it's going to be, Crew will be privy to that knowledge with the Cypher utility as soon as it happens.
Yeah. And a great opportunity once again to get some trap kills through smokes, as MIBR are falling behind Seekers towards the A site. Any traps coming across, broken off by Satchels. MIBR moving in at first.
There it is.
Getting the pick outside from Showers onto Kesnet. Camera was right behind him. Trying to surprise some opponents. No heroic play this time to deny the spike plant. He goes down now for MIBR. Advantage over with 2 players. Nice first shot now from Klaus. Oh! More bull strike then coming on the attack too, and things are looking good finally for MIBR in a pulse plant. Nags it on a 4 versus 1, and it's gonna be the 9-3 curse.
A necessary 3rd round at this point with how Crew is feeling. The crowd is feeling it for Crew behind them, and the MIBR fans are trying to get something going too. Vansili, this was a quick first half.
Oh yeah. A definitely tough moment right now for Crew and for MIBR, as we're gonna toss it to the desk for them to break down the first half.
Thank you so much, fellas. And with that, right now, Crew sitting at 9-3, MIBR with critical 3 rounds potentially. That could be the difference maker for them as we get ready for this next half. But Mimi, one thing is for certain, Crew, different team. Feels like we're looking at a team that has great ideas, great execution, and they're nailing everything that they want to accomplish on the map.
Yeah, and in picking into bind, I think you can very directly see the things that this team was working on. And for me, what I'm seeing is their coordination in late rounds and their ideas in these retakes. You always see them layering this utility to stop these plants and working really well together in these late rounds to coordinate in ways we weren't seeing from Crew before.
And what has to be mentioned is Klaus in this absolutely unbelievable form. He's hit this next echelon of initiator play that he just wasn't on, frankly, during that regular season. He was really struggling. And if you think back to the international runs that Crew went on, he was a key factor on the Killjoy. And if he's back in tandem with the fragging of Kesnet, it makes me believe that they could be a dark horse like they were at Champions.
It does seem that way, at least in the first half of this one. But MIBR did claim 3 rounds, and that's something on this map. And kind of the big question is, how does this composition work when we pivot on over? With the chamber, I think the biggest benefits you have is controlling space on those extremities, as they did on that attacking side. You can put up that TP, control B long, swing that area, put an emphasis on getting that operator in FRZ's hands. It is an agent and it is a composition that once you get it rolling on the defense can be quite potent. But the question is, can they shut Crew down early, who looked so good in that pistol?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited to see what Crew have ready here on the attack side. And I'm interested in seeing what Davies is actually going to bring here now on the Cypher. His setups were so effective on defense. Now the question is, what is his lurking going to be like here on the attack?
Yeah, it's very evident. Crew came into this with a game plan, and it has been executed to perfection. But One has to wonder, does the 9-3 curse kind of, rear its ugly head here in MIBR, who have been known to pull off some miracles in the past, find themselves with a bind victory? We'll find out as we send it back over to the casters.
Thank you very much, GB. And indeed, there is definitely moments where MIBR could come back in this game against Crew. If you dig back towards the first weeks of Americas, week number 2, it was a game on Pearl where Crew actually had a very strong lead in that last final map to get the first victory of the season. And MIBR, came back, forced it into overtime, and dealt a heartbreaker to Crew.
MIBR is already trying to put something on the docket here, pushing up towards mid and just leaving FRZ alone, and Hookah is going to get surrounded really fast. Oh, the TP comes over, they read the play, and we're going to get a 5v5 retake.
They are playing with a lot of teleports on both defensive halves now for Crew and MIBR.
Wait a moment.
Davies is the one that's setting up things on the pulse plant camera, looking up towards the garden. But it's not a spike plant really for them, with the exception of utility, which they don't have now for Crew. So just in the back of the site, FRZ gets the opener now onto Kesnit. That camera sees the three players. The flash has not affected anybody. MIBR, those storms in. Okay. You still had all of that information, but the duels just came in for Made in Brazil.
Not the boom you hoped for.
Fully garrisoned up in the site, and MIBR is still able to make that work. Seeing what happened as well with the camera being up the full time, you're like, oh, okay, they know exactly where everything's coming from. But that doesn't always secure the fact that you're going to win the round. Oof. Oh, man. Davies, everybody kept peeking at Davies, but then just backing up a little bit, preventing that kill from coming in. Unawares, but getting the result that they wanted. Very nicely done. So MIBR pull up a very, very big first pistol round here. Let's see what they can do coming into these next ones. I'm sure they'll play it safe, thinking Crew is going to have something here for this eco. Oh, looking for the 1v1 peaks real quick. Actually, Mauser comes up with a Sheriff. Klaus, the only one that's looking for a bit more util here to support the team, so only a classic there. And it's going to work.
Oh! Marie's there for the support. The Guardian Angel dropping the spike. So now he's going to try to clear with the Trailblazer out towards long. Yeah, we're trying to break rotations if we can, but it's not really needed here, as MIBR are playing the numbers advantage and also the opportunity of just covering the spike down in Hookah. This Crew with the lower weaponry looking to push this back. And it's going to be a contact play. JZZ will allow RGL to open the portal. And they'll try to pinch it in.
Yeah, trying to draw a fight here. It's good to see Crew playing these so safe, right? Trying to get as much damage as they can. Really trying to wear away at MIBR. It shows you the severity, and they know that MIBR can turn it up here now on the defensive side. We get into our bonus round. We catch this replay, and Marines with a quick smoked out double. Very nice. Seeing that early Guardian buy coming out from MIBR do a lot of work. Majority at the time. Now, what do they have for next round? This is where Crew could take this game and run with it if they hit that aggression. They're going to play somewhat of the 3-1-1, but they're moving Davies over right now. So full touches every round here towards B long. A little bit of conditioning we're getting out of Crew. And it looks like their wall will just be up towards mid. So still just using that default Viper wall, allowing Nags to put a little pressure there. Hopefully get this rotation they want, but what a guard here by MIBR once again.
Looks like the beast inside of MIBR is trying to wake up here, and we might expect the usual banger series between Crew and MIBR. Trailblazer stunning one, but still JZZ holds his angle. A push right back out, a double swing, nicely done by Crew, pushing out the TP away from FRZ in the back of the A site.
Oh, is this going to be a teleport rotation once they execute? No, they're going through spawn. JZZ turns around and they start hightailing it over back towards A. Defense is there. Let's see if Crew can break this.
Still 35 seconds though. An opportunity to tap on a spike, force out the utility, replant, or do a late rotate through the teleporter.
Yeah, it
30
looks like
seconds
it.
left.
There's that first molly on the ground set up by the defense. There's that full plant coming through, attempted, and it will be successful now for Crew. Davies trying to clear out the site, works out for the first kill. Melzer with support from Showers. Still a disadvantage for Crew. Low HP on Davies, but still gets the kill. Onto Maurice and FRZ. Somehow it's all up to JZZ. But in this bonus round, they have done the damage here in MIBR. And JZZ's hunting. Out from you, spotted by Klaus and dropped.
Huge.
Pulse plan successful for Crew as they take the lead by 5.
Make sure to follow my pack in. They'll lead us right to the enemy.
Ultimate now for Melzer. What a solid hold here. And great choices by Crew. They continue to work the map a little bit, get a little information on what's going on. MIBR has been stacking B long, and I think through util identification and obviously more than one shooting, hearing more than one gun, that was not something that Crew wanted. They flexed back towards A, and even with the rotation from MIBR, Crew gets the win. Switching it back and forth towards B, the default 3-1-1 here. Not default, but what they like to run. Ooh, really?
I mean, it's a nice little combo. It was a nice little try.
That was a great thought off the Trailblazer. Quick plays.
Forces out the regrowth from Maurice. So Chosen, yes, able to make it out alive. A trap play by Crew. Information with the Trailblazer to combine with the orbital strike. The pivot comes back towards the A side. FRZ is the one pushing forward, and you're always going to see that 1v1 on that side of the map. This time one on the defense, but Crew pushing forward.
Molly. They know Showers is something they have to cover, though. Love the little trap play coming in from FRZ to get that information, but he may have a lurk that really solidifies the win for this team once the utility drops in from spawn. Crew now gonna have a hell of a time holding this versus 5.
Yeah. Nags has the responsibility to try to find if FRZ is still lurking around, but they have to stay in the site for Crew. There's no pulse plant utility right here, so you have to flash and go for picks, and it works out. Klaus getting ready for a second flash. The peek comes out once again. The triple swing all in favor so far of Crew. Now on a 2 versus 1. Pain shells line up, not even needed.
Oh my gosh. What? It's just smothering MIBR on these site takes. And it's not even, we're going to set up when we get there and we'll hit it. The moment they got to heaven, the moment they got to spawn connector, they instantly flood the site, and the util is just displacing Crew perfectly, or MIBR perfectly there. Yikes.
I mean, he tried. Maurice definitely tried. But when those flashes come out, and we've mentioned the discipline that Crew has on these trades, they've been looking very good. Only 2 rounds in now. Close up the first map of this series. Again, reminder, do or die.
Yeah.
Whoever loses this series, unfortunately, ends their season.
When we were watching the map picks, this was a quick bind pick. They were like, okay, Crew, first pick, bind. Like, instantly, an MIBR said attack. Did Crew take it to him on defense to start out here? And now they were ready as well for the aggressive side. 3 stack on A for MIBR here as Crew starts to feel out the map a little bit more. They're 1 away from Kesnet. I wonder if they try to farm this and then just make a quick impact play off of that. Already with 2 online, Klaus and Davies ultimates, if they want to use them. There's a Davies ultimate. And Cypher ult is so much more effective too if you're getting the first kill of the round. You guys say hello to all 4 members left alive.
And even the overkill for the confirmation seekers, just to make sure that the B site, if there were players in there, you could flush them out and just follow behind.
Oh dear.
Rotation then comes across.
Okay.
Nice little Marshall kill.
Get a little saucy there.
Yep.
Crew feeling the push.
Last player standing now in Puka, but he's not going to be the chosen one. Map point now for Crew.
A definitive first map. And coming into LCQ Advanced Daily, this is what you need to see. Not 2 teams waffling it back and forth, unless you're getting a hit-for-hit round that is just unexpected. No, you need a team to come out strong. You want to see a team, if they are going to be the winner, to get that definitive win. LCQ is not going to be an easy gauntlet run for anybody here. And the Death said it, we've mentioned it. Crew, any of these teams in the single elimination run of it have to almost have an EG-like season, or even a Tokyo EG-like, and just have a perfect run. It's pretty wild. It's hard to do in a week. It's hard to do in a week.
And definitely, speaking of the EG-like season, there's definitely a lot of EG fans rooting for MIBR.
Yeah,
right
exactly.
Now, as they're unfortunately falling behind. Operator out on the defense for FRZ. Does not connect onto that shot. Through the map, yeah, definitely out towards showers. And if we could actually get behind enemy lines for JZZ, Chosen could actually rotate back a little bit more quickly. But this is still great positions for MIBR. Finally, the second shot connects. Orbital strike on the ground, connects on to Kessit and cancels out the showstopper.
This rotation, big hit by JZZ. I don't even know if they'll see action, but getting closer and closer. Bounce over that, maybe?
It would be heard. So the responsibility for JZZ is just to make sure they can't rotate back from market.
30 seconds left.
And a late second TP, you still have Chosen inside the A site. But Crew's still working towards A, looking for that plant. Meanwhile, looking for that timing, and there's that satchel you talked about here, Riv. The flank then comes across.
Toxin screen down.
Good hold here as well by Chosen. Good info to give with that rotation to JZZ, and they're just waiting for that hit. FRZ starts off with another one in the round.
Yeah.
Third!
All thanks to a first flash, and that was a stronghold for MIBR after all. And I like this. I like this look for MIBR. And even though they're losing here, but they get this defuse. They mentioned at the desk, Mimi was talking about, hey, maybe Chosen coming into this rotation, into this composition, will solve the issues of a little bit of overheating that we've seen from MIBR towards that mid side of the season. And look how patient they were, waiting for JZZ to actually make it towards long, for the TP to come through from Chosen, then you come in for the hit.
The length of rounds can easily just kind of make your win condition fall out of memory, right? You fall asleep at the wheel. But throughout that, as you were saying, the patience, you have an operator up. Let that operator be the first peak. If that operator has anybody in line of sight, then action from everyone else can happen. But otherwise, MIBR is playing to that winning condition perfectly when they have the big buy on the map. And Crew having a little trouble finding their way through. They do need one more, so they're not too pressured right now. It's going to have to be that big comeback if we want to see MIBR bring it to overtime in our first map. But man, what a statement from Crew here. And you can see they're still realizing, MIBR is figuring out a way through our defense. Let's slow it down, and let's figure out a way to close this one out.
Yeah. Definitely for Crew, they seemed a lot more relaxed going into this game. Had a chance to see them just sit around and talk the match through before actually setting up on stage, shooting some hoops, just feeling it for today. And they definitely look ready. A very strong start on the first half, a 7-0 lead, now in the lead by 6. Only needing this one final round to close up their map pick here on Bind.
And we see FRZ now, this chamber pick coming into play. What it's supposed to do. Really wasn't able to get to the operator on attack if it's the position they wanted it in, but its definite strength is coming from for MIBR on defense as FRZ heats up. Little orb control, orbital strike again. I feel like Melzer has had a lot of ults this game. Just farming those out, and they've actually secured quite a few kills on the rounds. Slow play towards mid. A little bit of a push up here by Nags just to get audio if anybody's moving U-Haul. But 4 stack for MIBR. This is going to be a bloodbath on entry.
MIBR kind of wants to play behind a showstopper if there was a hard hit. Overcommitting the rotate towards the A site.
They've waited long enough.
Yeah, that's the opportunity now. If the showstopper comes down and you go through the TP, that connects onto Klaus, and that's a spike down. Meanwhile, the orbital strike did isolate one player in showers, and that's RGL. About to get the backstab. It's not getting cleared. That's Kessit with the 2 kills. The spike is down, though, still once again. Disadvantage for Crew. A shot trying to ring through, but it's Chosen getting the wall bang. Transfer doesn't work out though for Davies. It was a nice try, but still around for MIBR.
MIBR coming out of the woodwork there. I think everybody could tell Kesnet double took on seeing RGL come out of bat. He was like, wait a minute, that's not our brim. Yeah, that's how scattered MIBR was on defense, but scattered in a good way. Able to keep themselves hidden, that patience again to let everybody get into position and then make the play. That was huge to still have Showers control and a definite miss by Crew. That's what MIBR is looking for. More misses for the MIBR squad against Crew here. Let's see, they're gonna get up towards B. More of a default, actually, all the way across the map. And that Showers control orb will be washed by FRZ. Operator still in play with a tour de force to come if they need it.
And that's the advantage of that chamber. I
so
talked about him with the being the first point of contact and also an opportunity to escape. Molly! With the rendezvous being set up now on the top of the boxes. Kesnet sees it. They know exactly where at least the offer is at. Trying to close it against him, but once again, it's RGL helping out. That's a Spike falling down. Spike now picked up.
Missed the molly.
And Crew's gonna go through towards the B site.
Ooh, very scattered here for Crew. Not going the way they want, except Davies rains one back in on Chosen.
And JZZ was the one left behind towards that B site. Does get the contact on the push out from Crew and falls back and waits for this flood retake once again for MIBR.
Both teams are really trying to stretch each other thin here.
There's the op shot, trying to get it through the poison orb. Clouds with the stinger towards the back of the site. Maurice falls, Seekers out on the attack. Gets a second one here. Gets the take one at first. And with the third fight, Crew closes the first map, 13-7.
Incredible showing from Crew. Always being able to show well against the Brazilian teams. Absolutely incredible first matchup, dominating the defense and then finding their footing after a few rounds on the attack side. Lotus is going to be coming up next, but Crew are feeling so good about, I think, how this one went. We saw a different Crew, a different identity and how they played around each other. So good. We asked a little bit from Klaus. Klaus gave a lot. Klaus gave a lot. Oh my word.
The rest of Crew didn't need to ask for anything. This man was feeling it the whole game, so well done for that. But again, yes, it's a refined Crew that looks so good right now against MIBR. That said, that's the potential that Crew, that we all thought that they would bring throughout the season of the Americas. A lot of these weeks where they were so close of closing these series, but always came down now to just them losing in the final rounds and not closing the series. And this time around, though, everything looks good from A to Z, on the hits, on the trades, on the retakes, and just in the ing duels.
I think one of the big things is they continued to vary what they were doing. Maybe too readable before. Teams would always be able to say, oh yeah, it's close, but we know how to close it out against Crew. And that's not the answer anymore. We're gonna be stepping away. Up next, GB and the analyst desk will break down map number 1. Don't go anywhere.
Have you ever asked yourself after a bad game, what am I missing? Or sought help from impatient friends? Or browsed desperately for answers that only bring up more questions? Your self-doubting days are over with Discovery, the first game-focused AI. Discovery is trained on the world's leading esports athletes to be your everyday personal coach. That's right, Discovery can help you improve your gameplay by giving you tips and strategies to take your game to the next level. Get started at aimlabs.com/discovery.
Don't stop me, 'cause I'm having a good time, having a good time. I'm a racing car, passing by like Lady Godiva. I'm gonna go, 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 there's no stopping me. Don't stop me now, I'm having such a good time.